once again with Nature's Recreations Aquascape Artist of the Year. We are starting a new project out here in Godfrey, Illinois, and it is going to be a doozy. I tell you, there is so much going on with this thing. It is unbelievable. But we've got multiple stream and falls. We got some new steps. We got bubbling rocks. We got all kinds of cool stuff. A separate bubbling rock. But let me turn you around so you guys can kind of get a feel for the lay of the land before we start tearing it up. So this is the existing steps that we have to deal with here that we're actually removing and going to replace, because we're going to have another stream coming down this way that we want to redo those steps with some better stone and have it kind of twist and turn and interact with that new staircase. Maybe even get a big cantilevered stone coming out over the stream. That would be a really close interaction point. But what we've got here is our basin for all of these systems that's going to culminate right here. So we've got a massive basin that's going to go in right here. This stream will come in here. Off of that, we got a 45-foot stream and falls that's going to start all the way up the top, right at the corner of the driveway, at a bog or a wetland filter that we're going to try to make it look and mimic a natural spring. This hillside is actually going to serve as a benefit to us, because normally we are really not liking to have slope coming into any kind of stream or basin or pond, because it's going to carry silt, nutrients, stuff like that. So in order to combat that problem, we're going to use that, turn it around and make it an asset for us. So we're going to have a really tall boulder wall that is actually going to be inside the stream that's going to retain this slope here. So this will be a high side of the stream, and then the rest will be kind of running along the face with our low side here. And what that's trying to do, my design goal was to mimic a natural rock bluff, just like what you would see probably if you out, or going floating on a river or someplace. You have that high bluff where everybody wants to jump off into the deep section, and then you've got the river or the stream running along the base of that, and then this is the low side. That's exactly what we're going to try to mimic in this situation here. On top of, we're going to have weep points along this that will actually have water that just kind of rills right between maybe a couple, 3 or 4 different spots, as just little horsetail falls or just like a weeping wall. Because if you've ever been driving along the side of the highway or on that float trip, and you'll see kind of a wet part of the bluff where water's kind of running off that hillside and then culminating in this main stream, that's what we're trying to mimic here. So we've got additional sound and sight for this vantage point, which is, by the way, that big picture window up there. So they look right out at this whole area from the living room, family room, where they spend a ton of time. Just beyond that is their kitchen. So they're going to be able to see this thing when it's lit up at night, and it's just going to be awesome. So this wetland / spring bog filter up here is actually going to be the origination. So we're going to have that having a spring-like effect where the water just percolates up through that gravel, and then it's going to flow down through that stream. In order to keep this kind of as a safe area and also add some seating, we're going to be placing a couple of really big accent boulders right up in that space. That is twofold. They're going to serve as seating stones, but they're also going to serve as a physical barrier that anybody that would come up here maybe at night that didn't see this, they wouldn't drop off the edge of this, because we're going to have that same tall side on this wetland, because you can see we've got a pretty good slope here. So we want to have some security up there, and also some added effect that there's actually boulders that kind of exist throughout this space. This slope is going to be retained on this low side with some big outcroppings, because we've got to really flatten this area out. So a lot of soil is going to get backfilled in here, a bunch of outcropping boulders in there to try to level that out. But check out what we've got going up here. This is just the beginning, guys. So the 45-foot stream and falls is going to end in the basin here. The new steps are going to come out a little bit to the right, interact with this stream that comes down here. All of this stuff is going. We're taking everything out, boxwoods, everything. And then this stream is going to work its way right through this area, kind of twisting and turning and meandering. And then it's going to start right up there. What's going on up there is going to be a custom core drilled bubbling rock. And we're doing that because we wanted to have a visual vertical element as well as some additional sound, because this is pretty flat. So there's not going to be a heck of a lot of sound getting created through this stream section. We wanted to have that vertical element because we've got this nice brick wall that is a perfect backdrop to set up this garden space. He's taken out this birch tree so it doesn't cause us some problems. They'll end up filling this with more plants around that bubbling rock source once it's done. And the reason we're doing that vertical element is because this is actually the front door. So they're not only going to probably see that from that picture window, but that front door is really an important view when guests are coming in or out getting to this parking space here or along the sidewalk. So we wanted to have a element that would really draw people out this way, and also create some auditory interest. But that's not all. We've also got this other stream that is going to tie in and connect to that one that comes from there. It's going to go underneath the sidewalk. We're taking out this slab of the concrete, and I've got a huge bridge stone that we're going to replace that with. So the stream will come underneath this, zigzag and twist through this space, and then right about center where that fallen statue is, there's going to be another different type of core drilled bubbling rock. Again, we want that vertical visual element. We want the sound there. We want something to really frame out this garden space. So this bed eventually will just tie right in and go around the edge of what this is. They're going to be removing that big hairy ladder walking stick because it's kind of not doing so well. They're going to try to save some cuttings off of it because they really love it, but it's kind of blocking the view. So we want to take that and open that up from that front door, because you can just barely see that door from this vantage point. Now that I'm walking around, you can see it. So imagine the view now from that when people are walking out that area and walking through this. This is going to be really cool. I'm so excited to get this piece going, because this is going to be a really deep stream section. So we're going to cut that down because we've got a thick 6, maybe 7 inch bridge stone. That's a big natural slab of weathered limestone that we're going to cut the stream down underneath. So it's going to look like that water just eroded underneath there and left that big slab existing there to create this pathway. So my goal is when I'm done, I want it to look like this was always here and they literally poured this sidewalk right up to it to be able to access that front door. The other reason we're doing another bubbling rock here is they've got this side slash front back porch. The house is kind of oriented differently with a few of the add-ons over the years. This is a really killer 10-acre property out here, but they sit and spend a lot of time here. So we wanted to have another line of sight to see, hear that, to be able to want to draw people out. So they're going to have water sound bouncing through this whole space. But that's not all. We're also doing a standalone bubbling rock feature, because this side entrance, or rear entrance as they call it, is where they do access and use primarily because it's got the paved concrete drive and pad, and they wanted to have some water element in this area here as well, because again, they do spend some time out here on this beautiful covered porch and patio. So we're doing another standalone custom basin with a custom core drill bubbling rock, and the rock that I have picked out for this is unbelievable. It has almost like its own waterfalls, and it kind of has a twisting effect. The water is just going to be cascading almost at a 360, so they'll get sight and sound going that way. We'll have water going this way. It's going to be really cool. So we're taking out all this existing plant material here, and we'll actually tuck the edging of that basin right up into this little boulder wall here. We're actually going to replace that. We'll have another high side on our basin there to contain all the splash and the water for that. So that's what we've got going here, guys. That is just an enormous amount of work. I cannot wait to get this thing started. It is going to be amazing. Stay tuned, check out how this thing comes together. We are so excited to see what happens. It's going to be amazing, and watch how it transforms this space. Alrighty guys, first loads of stone showing up today for this big Godfrey, Illinois job. And it rained pretty hard last night. And then again this morning. I'm not sure we're gonna get these guys in, but we're gonna give it a shot. We've gotta come all the way from that road over there, up that little hill, and try to get them over here. Not very optimistic, but let's see what happens. Alright guys, I got most of that stone offloaded. We did get stuck a couple times and had to change plans, but we got it in. And I tell you, it looks like a quarry around here, or a boulder stone yard. Check out how many pallets of boulders we got behind me there. It is enormous, and we're still short. I have to actually go pick up the last remaining 6 that they didn't deliver at the right time because they were short on drivers and truck space. And so now we're gonna have to go pick those up. It is what it is. All business is solving problems, and I'm gonna fix that one real quick. So this is what I'm gonna refer to as the boneyard. We have got pallet upon pallet of different ranging sizes of beautiful Missouri weathered limestone boulders here. I mean, just amazing, some of the character on these stones, all the moss. Look at that big tall guy there. I am so excited to start working with this stuff. It is going to be unbelievable. Looking forward to getting things started here and getting digging as soon as we get our retention in. So we're gonna do ourselves a favor, and we're gonna cut all this sod out and get this prepared so that when we're ready to start digging and shaping that stream, we're not gonna have any problems. You can see this new bed line that I sprayed out here. That ties right back into that big guy over there. That's right where that origination point is gonna start with that first stream. If you remember, it's gonna come, meander through here, and then we're actually taking this slab right here out between these 2 paint marks, and that's where our big bridgestone's gonna go. And then everything else is gonna keep meandering that way This other one's going to tie in here. We're going to have the crew take out all these existing shrubs and trees and get these plants healed in somewhere else so that the client can reuse them and get this thing ready for work. We'll also end up scraping a bunch of this wood chip mulch out of here because we don't want to mix that in with the soil. It really is too lofty, and it's going to settle over time. And we also don't want to have the possibility of a splinter going through our liner. So cleaning all that up, get everything prepped. First ones that are going in are those ones that I got to pick up. That's these big guys over here for this retention, where our basin's going to be right off of this between that hill and the tree. And then we'll do some minor stuff along that edge as well. But we're going to really pull that stream closer to this side so we can get that weeping wet wall effect. But look at this slope, the drop off we have here. It is insane. I mean, that thing just almost is a sheer drop off. There's a couple stones here that we'll probably leave in place that the customer put in around, looks like a drain pipe, but man, that is just such a steep drop off there. So I've got to have good retention and be able to backfill soil up because my basin is going right in there. This guy's coming out, he's going to get repurposed someplace else. This guy's a goner, unfortunately. He didn't make it over the couple winters we had in harsh springs. So getting a clean slate. Well, our luck is not doing so well here, guys. What do they say business is? It's all about solving problems. Look at this one. Nice little stream of hydraulic fluid coming out of that. You see that? Woo. Not a good day. Guess I'm off to go grab a part. Well, you know what they say about a life without problems, it'd be boring, and that's exactly what we've got going on today, guys. We got the part, and we still couldn't fix it. We had a hose that was stuck on there, but we got it up and running, but then guess what else happened? Our bobcat went down. So we've had a heck of a morning, but we're getting after it. They are fixing the machine right now. We've got fuel water separator sensor that was bad, and we're finally going to try to get back at it. I tell you, it's never boring around here. So we're going to get back to actually doing some work here. We finally got all the boulders, or most of them that we need, and we're going to be starting the basin finally. cleaned up here, guys. All those bushes are gone. The sod is cleaned off. And we are ready to start moving on this project finally. We've still got the equipment issues over there that we're trying to fix. It's just been a really frustrating day, but it is what it is. We'll make it happen. But this is gonna be the last time you're gonna see this looking this bad, because we're gonna start slicking this thing up. Basins going in today. Hopefully we don't have any other problems. We're gonna pull these steps, we're gonna get that stuff going, and then we are gonna set some of these big monster outcroppings here, get our retention in, dig this basin, and get that ready to start throwing aqua blocks and liner in. So part of the reason we're really struggling with this equipment issue we've got one big massive boulder stuck on the trailer that we can't get off. I know if you guys watched any of our work, we like big stones. Sometimes I tend to overdo that. My eyes are bigger than my machinery, and what we've got here behind me is one of those. This guy comes in at about 7,500 pounds or so. Quite the big beast, nice specimen, but we don't have just quite enough oomph with that bobcat to get it off by itself, so we need both pieces of equipment, which we do quite often. That thing's gonna give us a little bit of a trouble getting her off there, but man, putting that where we're gonna set that is gonna make this feature look awesome. Can't wait. Let's see if we can get this thing unloaded.